Hello everyone, welcome back to Couch Coaching. On this episode we're going to talk about the 2012 NFL Draft. And what we're going to touch on is we're just going to touch on the first 10 picks of the draft and how we feel about the draft and who may or may not be taken. And we're also going to refer to some experts also and feel and give a take on how we feel like who they think is going to go where. Jimmy's going to talk about the first 10 picks first.
All right, what I'm going to read off of is the Hot 100 Top Prospects from Gil Brandit from the NFL Network. He's a senior analyst. Now, what he's got here is, again, I'm only going to read the top 10. He's got Andrew Luck, QB from Stanford, of course, is the number one. You've got Matt Khalil, which is an offensive tackle from USC. You've got Rob. All right, so you're going to start it off.
Hello everyone, welcome back to Couch Coaching. On this episode we're going to talk about the 2012 NFL Draft. And what we're going to touch on is we're just going to touch on the first 10 picks of the draft and how we feel about the draft and who may or may not be taken. And we're also gonna refer to some experts also and feel and give a take on how we feel like who they think is gonna go where. Jimmy's gonna talk about the first 10 picks first.
All right, what I'm going to read off of is the Hot 100 Top Prospects from Gil Brandit from the NFL Network. He's a senior analyst. Now, what he's got here is, again, I'm only going to read the top 10. He's got Andrew Luck, QB from Stanford, of course, is the number one. You've got Matt Khalil, which is an offensive tackle from USC. You've got Robert Griffin III, QB from Baylor. Quentin Couples, a defensive end from North Carolina. Number 5 is Morris Claiborne, cornerback from LSU. Trent Richardson, which is a running back from Alabama. Ryan Tannehill, which is a QB from Texas A&M. Riley Riff, offensive tackle from Iowa. Courtney Upshaw, linebacker, Alabama. And Michael Brockers, defensive tackle, LSU. Now, out of the list that I just named, there's a lot of people that I felt would be a lot higher than what he has them listed as. One of them being Justin Blackman, wide receiver from Oklahoma State.
Yeah. He's
got him listed at number 13. In my opinion, I figured he would be a lot higher. And the other gentleman that I'm also kind of wondering how come he's not listed a lot higher than what he would be Poe, the defensive tackle from Memphis. He's got him listed at 51.
It's Dontario Poe, right?
Right.
Okay. I think more than anything with Poe, look, Poe was a combine all-star, but his college career doesn't translate to him being a higher prospect. Now, he looked great in the combine, but the numbers don't say that as far as his college career. Now, part of that is because he played in Conference USA. In Conference USA, they play a lot of run and shoot type offense.
Right.
Where it's a 2, maybe 3-step drop, if it's a drop at all, because all the quarterbacks are in shotgun, and it's like I got one read, that's where the ball is going. So it's hard to have sacks and stuff like that. So you can kind of understand why his numbers aren't where everybody would want.
But just watching the combine and seeing what he was able to do, I mean, that was impressive to me.
Right.
I mean, it was Poe. I strongly believe could end up being someone like Ndamukong Suh.
Right.
And in that type of aspect, I mean, he's not a number 1 overall draft pick. Number 1, number 2, but he should easily go within the top 10. First round.
And it's going to be interesting to see what happens with Poe. I can't say his name. Dontario Poe. It's a tongue twister. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with this kid, because who was the last person that was a combine star? Oh, Vernon Davis.
Jamarcus Russell.
Vernon Davis. And look how Vernon Davis how Vernon Davis did. See, he keeps bringing up Jamarcus Russell. And see, that just lets me know he didn't even watch the combine because Jamarcus Russell was out there in sweats, looking fat.
Throwing 70 yards from his knees. $60 million guaranteed. What was he, number one?
I don't know why he keep bringing that up. I thought we were friends.
Was he first? Hold on, was he first round?
He was the number one.
Number one. 3 years later, he's pumping gas.
Thank you, Mr. Davis. God rest your soul. But, it's going to be interesting to see where Poe goes. He may have Blackman lower because, again, we're talking about the top 13 prospect players, but we all know Blackman's going to go in the top 10.
Right.
And so right now we're going to touch on who has the first 10 picks. So the Indianapolis Colts have the first pick.
And real quick, I don't mean to cut you off.
Go ahead.
I don't care what Jim Irsay says. All right, he's picking Andrew Luck.
Right.
I don't care about this whole Twitter account. We offered Robert Griffin. He declined.
Right.
Don't get it twisted. They already was going with Luck anyways. Luck made it to Peyton Manning's, QB camp.
Training camp. They've seen enough of this kid to know that that's who they want.
So don't get it twisted and all this. Well, Robert Griffin is a bad guy because he didn't. Look, Robert Griffin knew that he wasn't going to Indianapolis. That's the reason why he chose to go sign autographs in Washington. He already knew.
Right.
Andrew Luck already knew. After his last game of the season with Andrew Luck, the reporter came up to Andrew Luck and says, "How will it feel to play behind Peyton Manning?" Everyone already knew where Luck was going.
Right.
This isn't. Don't get it twisted. Robert Griffin isn't the bad guy.
Right.
Jim Irsay can just stop tweeting.
if he could only do that. But again, the number one pick is the Indianapolis Colts. The number two pick goes to Washington via a trade that they did with St. Louis. The number three pick is going to the Minnesota Vikings, 4 to the Cleveland Browns, 5 to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 6 to the St. Louis Rams, 7 to the Jacksonville Jaguars, 8 to the Miami Dolphins, 9 to the Carolina Panthers, and 10 goes to the Buffalo Bills. So, look, we'll just wipe out 1 and 2 because we already know who's going where. 1 is going to be Luck. 2 is going to be Robert Griffin III. Let's go to the Minnesota Vikings. Now, now I'm going by what these experts have said on the team needs for these teams, and a lot of them have said that the Minnesota Vikings will probably be drafting Matt Khalil from USC, the old offensive tackle, which they do need some help at on the offensive line.
Yeah, especially with Adrian Peterson
right.
in the backfield.
Exactly. With Peterson in the backfield, you want to exploit any possibilities that he has to get to the outside or through the middle, because once he gets to the secondary, it's always almost a touchdown. Because he's just one of the best backs in the league. But two of the people that are on NFL Network, Mr. Chad Reuter and Bucky Brooks, says that it's going to be Matt Khalil. But Brian Baldinger says that it may be Justin Blackman, and I can see how that could be a possibility. Because they need a deep threat to open up the field so that Adrian Peterson can have more room to work. He is coming off an injury. We don't know how healthy he's going to be, but I'm pretty sure that he'll give it his best to be ready for the season.
I tell you what, I'll take his 70% over some running backs who are 100%.
Exactly, because you still have to honor that.
Right.
I mean, they still have the. I'm sorry, the backup's name is escaping me. They have their backup.
Gerhardt.
Yeah, thank you. Toby Gerhardt there. So they'll still be good as far as running goes. So again, 2 of these experts said it's going to be Khalil, but Brian Baldinger, he might be on to something. I think that it may be Justin Blackman. And if it is Justin Blackman, it's going to be interesting to see what St. Louis does with this pick that it got from Washington. Number 4, or also with Cleveland. The 4th pick is going to be with the Cleveland Browns. Now, 2 guys, Brian Baldinger and Bucky Brooks, feels like it's going to be Trent Richardson, and Reuter thinks it's going to be Justin Blackman.
Right.
So, Jimmy and I had this discussion on numerous occasions at work over the Xbox Live, which we do play. And I feel like it's going to be Trent Richardson because Cleveland needs a splash.
Okay, let's talk about Cleveland for just 1 second. This is Cleveland. How many times have they been in the top 10?
Right.
How many times they've had a chance to go pick up a splash?
Right.
How many times have they had that opportunity to throw money out in free agency? This is Cleveland. They don't make a splash. In my opinion, they're going to drop this ball like they did on everyone else. Because even if you go get Trent Richardson, who are you going to have to block for him? You run a West Coast offense. That is what you run. Your wide receivers can't catch, so you're going to be putting more load on Trent Richardson. So your teams that you're facing, especially the AFC North, because you've got Baltimore, you got the Steelers, and you've also got the Cincinnati Bengals. They blitz. So if your wide receivers can't catch, and all I got to do is send 8 people in the box, your running back ain't going nowhere either.
Right.
So I think if Justin Blackman gets picked, I think it'd be a bad deal. What I've heard is Ryan Tannehill could be picked up. Cleveland isn't very happy with Colt McCoy. Personally, I feel Colt McCoy is an excellent quarterback. Maybe not a starter, but a definitely number 2 guy. I think he needs a good quarterback to show him some of the ropes. But Ryan Tannehill, they like him because of his height. They like him because of his throw accuracy. And he's coming out of A&M, so they run a pro-style.
Yeah, they run a pro-style offense, and see, what you said, throwing accuracy. Look, Tannehill has all the measurables. He looks like an NFL quarterback. Mm-hmm. I just don't feel like he's worth a number 4 pick. You can get Tannehill in the 22nd pick because you have a whole bunch of people, and we're not going to dig all the way down into who comes before that. But I don't see anybody on this between 6 and 22 that needs a quarterback.
Miami Dolphin is saying they need one. From what everybody's saying, everyone is saying they will pick up Ryan Tannehill. So obviously Ryan Tannehill has some kind of merit that somebody's looking for.
But that's what they're saying. I just don't feel like that he's that important. You know, that's just what I feel. I mean, he's got, like I say, he looks like an NFL quarterback. He's got a big arm. But I've seen him throw passes that just don't make sense to me.
How many times have we seen a quarterback have a big arm?
See, there you go for the Jamarcus Russell reference again. I don't understand it. Like I said, I thought we were friends, but I guess we're not. All right, moving on. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers have the number 5 pick. And so, 2 of the guys, Brian and Bucky, they think it's going to be Morris Claiborne, which I think would be a great pick. He's a cornerback out of LSU. And Chad Ruder feels like it may be Trent Richardson. Trent Richardson doesn't make any sense to me for them because they have LeGarrette Blount. So Trent Richardson is a faster, speedier back, but you can get you a back from free agency that can do things comparable to what Trent Richardson can do for you and just let LeGarrette Blount carry the load for the most part.
Right.
That's just my opinion. That's what I think.
I agree. I agree.
So you want to touch anything on that, or we've kind of both agreed with that?
I'm in kind of agreement with you as well. I don't see really Trent Richardson being a good, reliable 5th pick.
Right.
Because if you have Blunt, who showed that he could do it last season, and I mean, there's a lot of guys out there in free agency right now that you can probably go pick up.
Right.
Yeah, good number 2 back. So yeah, I don't see why you would waste it on Trent Richardson.
And that's when we say waste, we don't mean that. You don't need that as a team. You don't really need that.
Right.
As far as that goes. So I wouldn't even, I don't understand why they even have him down for that. Now, what's going to get really interesting is where St. Louis dropped to in the 6th, because they went to the 6th round. I'm sorry, the 6th pick after making that trade with Washington. So if Justin Blackman is here, you might as well ink him in. You don't have to pencil him in because they want that deep threat. But if he is not here, what they're predicting is maybe Matt Khalil, again, the offensive tackle for USC, Morris Claiborne, and again, I feel like that's only if Justin Blackman is not there.
Yeah, because either way you look at it, all 3 of these picks make sense for the St. Louis. They need a good cornerback. They need an offensive tackle.
Exactly.
And they also need a deep threat who can catch it. That was their number 1 problem when it came to Sam Bradford last year.
Right.
They didn't have that good,
deep
wide
threat. Somebody that can take the cap off.
They picked up Brandon Lloyd,
right.
From Denver. That gave them an option. But they're still looking for that legitimate either number 1 or number 2 type guy. So any of these picks make sense to me.
Right. The number 7 pick, which is, look, this number 7 pick with the Jaguars, They're saying they may take Melvin Ingram, which is a defensive end for South Carolina. Again, he looked pretty good in the combine. Quentin Coples, which Jimmy mentioned, is in the top 10 defensive end from North Carolina. Melvin Ingram, and Melvin Ingram is what everybody else. So it's out of Melvin Ingram or Quentin Coples. And the thing that is the same is that it's a defensive end. They need somebody that can get to the quarterback. I know they were in the bottom third, if not the bottom quarter, of a team as far as sacks go. I want to say they were like very close to last. So they need some guys that can get to the quarterback to cause some havoc on other teams. Quiet is kept. Now I want you to hear what I'm saying. Quiet is kept. The Jacksonville Jaguars have a pretty good team.
They do. I like what they do with the offense. I really do. I like their defense is sometimes kind of questionable.
Right. Okay, and then we're going to talk about the next team that's on.
We've already talked about number 8, so we can go ahead and go down to number 9.
Yeah, number 9, which is with the North Carolina Panthers. Carolina Panthers. Good gosh, Carolina Panthers. And two are saying that they're going to take Dontario Poe, and another one is saying Fletcher Cox.
Wasn't that just perfect?
Poe. He has a lot of potential. Poe could be what they need. They need some help on the defensive side of the ball, so that it might be exactly what they need, and I'm pretty sure that's what they're going to get.
Right.
And we'll go to Buffalo, and Buffalo is talking about taking Malcolm, according to these experts, either Michael Floyd, Riley Ref, which Jimmy mentions again is in the top 10, or Jonathan Martin. Again, it's a toss-up. I think doing something to make that offensive line better so Fred Jackson can have more running lanes, and
I think they're pretty much set at wide receiver.
Yeah, I think so too. I
don't see them.
I don't see it be Michael Floyd. Yeah, I don't see it.
I could actually see them picking up an offensive tackle because they need that extra. That they're Fred Davis in the backfield. He's a monster when he's
Jackson, right? It's okay.
Fred Jackson in the backfield. He's a monster when it comes to running the ball. So I really think they need that protection up front.
Right.
And Matt Khalil could be a perfect guy, but he's just not going to be there. So it's going to be Jonathan Martin or Riley Riff from Iowa and Stanford.
Right. And I think if Justin Blackman isn't available, Floyd could end up being the guy that the St. Louis Rams get at 6.
Yeah, number 6.
Yeah.
No, I liked Floyd's pro day.
Yeah.
Floyd's pro day looked fantastic. He caught everything that was thrown to him.
Yeah.
Weird catches, odd catches, spectacular catches.
Yeah,
I really liked Floyd.
So that's, again, we just wanted to touch on the top 10 picks. And say maybe at a later date we'll talk about what our teams are going to do in the first. Oh, I'm sorry, I don't have a first round draft pick.
I do.
But anyway, hey, we love putting on the show for you. Give us your comments on our page, and again, thanks for watching Couch Coaching.
Have a good one.